Geeks at the Nerds Table coming at you one more time. Whoa, that was a pause moment. Jeez, wheeze. Geeks at the Nerds Table coming back at it one more time with another episode 57. We got a lot to get into. Let's go. Oh, yeah. We back, people. We are back. And I'm back. Did y'all miss me? I missed y'all. Okay, now it's getting creepy. All right, let's get into it, guys. Let's go ahead and introduce my crew.
Oh, hello there. Joseph Kerr. 66 Batman. No. Hello there.
Thank you. Spider Kev does whatever Spider Kev does.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Agatha. I'm excited about that. Let's go.
I call him Frankie Baby.
Larry Baby. What's going on, man? I feel like I've just been on here.
And last but not least, is it a bird? Is it a plane? George in the building.
Yo, what's good, people? I'm back in action, and we got a lot to talk about, so let's get to it.
That makes your crew 100% put together. Hey, look at Kev. Look at us.
Look at us. I mean,
there we go.
We were all together, like, I think, what, 2 episodes ago? 2 or 3 episodes ago?
3 episodes?
Sure.
Like 4 weeks ago, maybe now?
2 episodes ago, yeah, I think so.
It was 2 episodes ago. We were talking about the Disney soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
That was a good episode. Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, we all were here for that.
That was a fantastic episode. I loved every bit of it.
Somebody didn't listen.
Change your name from Cap to Sarcasm, Larry. Get you a little theme song.
Sarcastic Larry. All right, so look,
I'm hearing Jensen music.
All right, so let's dive into this this conversation because godly, it felt like it took us forever just for us to hit the record button. So let's kind of get into it. So the first thing we want to kind of start off with is we got a chance to see a movie early. Some of us actually went, some of us did not, but I think it's important for us to at least get into it and talk about what y'all guys actually felt about it, and is it worth the people going out to see. That movie is The Joker 2.
Joker.
That's what I wanted to do at the end of the
Call back to the very second episode, actually.
George, just in case, do that one more time. Okay, there you go. So that's George's review of the movie. So here we go.
Yo, one word, bro. It was great.
Well, now get to the point. I like it.
I want before we jump into this, I want to take 5 seconds and thank Jose of Baby Girl Comics in Pendle, Pennsylvania, for inviting us and going out. Jose, you know it was an important night for me, and I thank you, brother, for an amazing night. I had such a blast. and I really enjoyed seeing it with you. Thanks for the hospitality, bro.
Jose always coming in clutch with these premieres.
Always.
Always, bro.
Always.
We
Always.
got something cooking in the future.
In the very near future. Yo,
Yeah.
next week. No,
2
it's
weeks,
not next
I
week.
think.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
In
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
Yep.
It's in 2 weeks. Yeah, I won't be here next week. But yeah, 2 weeks. So it's gonna be
2 weeks.
fantastic.
Woo!
Just so you know, Venom. Venom. We're gonna see Venom early.
Yes.
Sony. With Sony.
That's a long story. Okay, look.
Sony,
No.
whatever.
So I'm gonna concentrate this conversation on y'all two, on Mike and George. What did y'all think of the movie? And is it worth everyone else watching it?
Mike, I'll let you start off.
All right, so going into this, I didn't think we needed it. When they announced it that they're going to make a sequel to Joker with its super ambiguous ending, I didn't think we needed it. Then we started getting the announcements of casting and that it was going to be a musical and that it was going to take place, directly after the first movie. So I was getting excited for it. And I think the movie holds up just about to the third act. It really just takes place 2 weeks after. Was it 2 weeks or 2 years? I think
2
it's 2
years.
years after the events of the first movie, and I think they have it to a point, and then they just kind of take a turn and never exactly recover. I enjoyed it. It doesn't take away from the first movie, which is a plus. But if Joker 1 was an A-, this was a B- for sure for me.
Oh my god.
So I'm usually the
Don't
break
hurt
out
him,
for this
Hammer.
one.
Don't hurt him.
Listen, they're about to get the hammer. Throw 'em out. All right, listen to this. All right. Joker 1, phenomenal movie, $1 billion in the box office. And I think it was the #1 rated R movie of that year, right?
Of all time, but before Deadpool.
Of all time. All right, even better. So you just solidified what I'm about to say. So, first one was amazing. The second one, what the hell? Okay, like, dude. All right. To Mike's point, Act 1 was good. Act 2 was all right. Act 3, what the flip, bro? What the flip? Like, this movie had so much potential, and yes, we didn't need it. We didn't need it. But when they announced it, I was for it because I saw how good the first one was. The first one had so much symbolism, and it was a different point of view of how we've seen the Joker. It was almost like it was an origin story, but then this one was kind of deterring from the origin story in a different way. I don't know. It just really was like messing with my mind a little bit, and I understood it was a musical going into it. And I'm not mad at musicals. I saw Wonka, and that was a musical, and that was fairly well. Like, they did it really well. It wasn't like forced down my throat, but this felt like it was forced down my throat. No Diddy.
Oh,
I'd throw it in there, but I don't know, man. It lacked a lot of the stuff that happened in Joker 1. I do like the continuation of the story. I do like how he kind of recessed back into his old ways as he started to get closer with Harley. So like, she opened up the old Joker, because in the beginning of it, he was very like quiet. He was dormant. He wasn't the Joker. He was Arthur Fletch, right? And then he started going to that in the middle of the movie, and then recessed back to Arthur Fleck at the end. And he's like, I'm not really the Joker. He went through this crazy court scene and did the makeup and did all the stuff to prove a point that he was Joker, to then pull back and say, I'm not the Joker. It just wasn't for me. Harley Quinn, Gaga was good as Harley. I actually did not mind Harley Quinn as Gaga, or Gaga as Harley Quinn, until the singing came on, and then it just seemed like the Gaga show. It really took away from Joker's story and really almost made it feel like it was Harley Quinn. And it's because of the A-list singer. She's a great singer, and I think she took over a lot of these songs. Just something that I was like, I'd rather hear a little bit more of Joker singing the songs, because this is his imagination, not just her imagination. Or in some of the songs where it was like, this is solely her imagination. Yeah, what you can say, Mike?
I was gonna say, especially like I think people forget like Joaquin Phoenix can sing. Look at Walk the Line. Like
Exactly.
he was
Like,
amazing in that.
He was very suppressed on the musical side of it. Like, he sang, like when it was before it got into like that imaginative state where it was like big production, he was singing and it wasn't bad. But then it wouldn't, when it went to the big production stuff, it really turned into the Gaga show. And that was my thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
so
it wasn't where I was expecting. That's all.
The biggest highlight of the movie for me was when they were both in Arkham and they caused that riot and with the fire and they start singing. I thought that was the absolute pinnacle highlight of the movie. I could have watched that all day, them do that.
See, the thing with that was really cool was because it didn't go into some imaginative like environment. They were singing that in real time while all of that is happening. You know what I mean? Which, if they would have stayed in that realm, I'm cool. You know what I mean? We didn't need the imagination, like showy kind of thing. I mean, even though that did happen in the first one, where, you know, when he was acting like he was a stand-up comedian, he had in his head, you know, the show and everybody in the audience and all that stuff.
Well, they showed it too, where it was when he was in the gas station bathroom after he killed the guys. He does that dance scene, and that's almost a musical. Yeah, I thought I really liked. I'm going along with you with like I liked the musical stuff before it got all like kind of like out there, like the variety show one, like the Sonny and Cher show one. I thought was kind of like weird. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. Yeah. I felt they kind of dropped the ball on Harley. Like, she finally gets dressed up, she walks into the courtroom, and she sits down.
Yeah,
and that's what happens. That's all she really does, and then she runs away. Not to jump to like the ending, but I would have loved to have seen like another riot and her bust him out of there, and then to go down like Natural Born Killers and like in a blaze of glory. That would have been
that would have been a great ending for me.
Exactly.
Like, if they would have ended the movie with that, hell yeah. But
I do like I do like the fact that it turns out like she was manipulating him the whole time, whereas like historically Joker usually manipulates Harley all the time.
Yeah.
Like big time. Yeah, there was just it's that third act that just doesn't quite recover. And like, who set off the bomb, George?
So the bomb was set off by guys who were acting like Joker. So remember in the first movie when they had the ending scene and there was like a bunch of people that were like with Joker masks and stuff like that. It seems like Joker in the 2 years, people tried to fill that role. So this is probably a group of guys that were trying to fill that role.
Like, imagine Joker. If that was her who blew it up, because like she's
I would have been okay with that.
She's the I don't know. What do the people like to set stuff on fire?
Arsonist.
Bingo. Arsonist. Like that could have been her. She could have blown up the thing, broke him out, and they could have went on this big riot spree. And I felt that would have been great. But
like, that was such a random scene. And I actually, to be honest with you, I thought Joker set that up. And then it winds up being that it wasn't set up by him. It was actually set up by nobodies, which blew me away, because I'm like, that should have been an open opportunity for either him to come up on top, or like you said, Harley to come out and, you know, retrieve him. It would have glued things better than just some random dudes that, granted, I don't think that was set up that way, though. I think it was just them trying to attack it, and Joker happened to be walking out because he stumbled out of there, and they're like, "Oh snap! Look who it is! We got him!" Look, and you know what I mean? They took him.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, it feels like this whole movie needed like another hard like pass through like a writer to get like just tightened up a little bit. Like, I felt like that whole ending could have been tightened up a little better and just needed like one more pass through like the script stage.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because I really had high hopes for that movie. And like Larry was asking, like, would you recommend seeing it? I would say go see it still. Not telling you not to see it. I will tell you to see it because there are some really cool things about this movie, but they're just not enough of them to carry the movie to a A+ status for me.
Yeah, I think
You know what I mean?
them two together was really fantastic.
Yeah.
Their chemistry together was something else. Like I said, that whole thing inside the asylum when they're running was great. Her when he's in solitary confinement, and, you know, she kind of like tricks him into doing something I'm not going to say on the PG-13 show.
Yeah.
And like there was all this like stuff leading, and it build up, and it kind of just dropped the ball a bit. And I felt like they got a little too focused on like proving that liking the Joker for doing the things he does is not the best thing to do. Like you shouldn't idolize like a villain. Like I thought they got a little too preachy with that.
Yeah.
Whereas like everyone, especially at the last movie, is like, oh, you know, did he do it? Did he not do it? Is it a delusion? And this are like, yeah, he did it, and don't worship him for it because he's not a good guy. Also, this movie should have been sponsored by some like cigarette company because I feel like everybody smoked in every single scene. Like it was like every scene opened up with like
a cigarette. Yep.
Everybody.
Like that was the first thing you heard out of Joker's mouth when he was talking with the guards. He's like, "You got a cigarette?" And they're like, "You got a joke?" Like no cigarettes for no jokes. You know what I mean? It definitely was a heavy.
All jokes movie. And no cigarettes make Jack a grumpy boy.
You wanna dive into that ending?
So wait, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Does it seem like they sacrifice story for the showpiece songs? Like, you know how they do in movies where like, all right, we got to cut time, we got to cut things out, but they're going to hold on to one thing that they absolutely think is going to perfectly work and needs to be in there. Like, does that seem what happened?
To me, I felt like it was like a 50-50 of that. So there were times where I felt like the musicals were necessary. Big scene was them breaking out of Arkham during that fire. That was perfect. Yeah. I think that was a great touch. But then there were some times where I felt like they were forcing it. And if they would have just skipped it and gave me more details of a story, I would have been better off with that.
Yeah, like when he's in Arkham and he's watching, is it where he gets like convicted or something, George? And he's going around like where everyone's watching the TV and he starts singing.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was good because it was like mostly just him singing. And I don't remember
it. And then they broke into a chant. So everybody started singing. So it wasn't like it was in his imagination. That was happening in real time.
Yeah. So I think some of them worked, some of them didn't.
Yeah.
I feel like there was something else I want to say.
You know what it was reminding me of is like a lot of fantasizing, right? So like when you're in love with somebody, you know, you're always fantasizing and stuff. I think that's what they were trying to push the idea of, is that these imaginations are literally of them just fantasizing about their love to each other.
Exactly.
Which is okay. I get it. You know what I mean? And the fact that even in the cartoons, Harley was a showgirl. You know what I mean? She was very like, I don't know how, animated, not just because she was a cartoon, but animated as a character in general. So I think it was just adding to that over hyper fantasy thing. You know what I mean? Which I mean, I could have used less of, to be honest with you, because apparently they didn't go full on Harley Quinn how we think in the comics and the TV shows and all that stuff. This was a different representation of Harley. She didn't have the voice. She wasn't like, she was crazy. She was in an insane asylum. You know what I mean? Granted, so was Joker. So they
like
did it differently.
I don't dig deeper into that. Like she went to the insane asylum on her own accord. Everything she told him was a lie. She manipulated him the entire way, which comic book wise, Harley manipulates the Joker, and then because she's fresh out of college, which she like slept with her professor to get her degree. That's even like they talk about that in the animated series comic. And in this, she kind of wants to be famous for being with the Joker. She wants that fame, that admiration of being with a monster. It's and they get it and they do it okay, but the fact that like once he gives it up and she's just like wipes her hands of it, it's just like, what was the point?
Yeah, it didn't lead to anything.
And you tell me this, what mountain are they building?
I think it was a concept more than actually building a mountain.
But like they said it twice or 2 or 3 times. She's like, "We're building a mountain. We're building a mountain." And I'm like,
big thing about the whole movie, like we build a mountain. Like there was a whole song breakdown about building a mountain.
That's what I'm saying. Like that could have used another solid pass through like the writing stages. I think that should have been ironed out.
That was just a reference to them building their empire.
I get that.
But it could have been worded better. You know what I mean? It could have been a better analogy. Building a mountain is cool, but bro, you could have did so much better.
Now let's get to the ending part.
Yeah, that ending, no pun intended, was a fucking was a gut punch. I'm writing this down. We are at
21 minutes
40. Larry, you got to edit that out.
So I mean, and you know what's crazy, man? So like, I knew the kid throughout the movie. I was watching him because there was something about him throughout the entire movie where he was like slowly becoming Joker. Like he was doing a lot of Joker-esque things. And then when I see him pop out of that corner when they say, "Hey, yo, Joker, you got a visitor," and I see him pop out the corner, I knew something was coming. I knew it. Because there was like, it's almost like he wanted that same thing that Harley wanted, that fame. And he had his opportunity and he took it. And he's on the side of, well, if you relinquish the idea of being Joker, then somebody else has to pick it up, essentially. And literally stabs the heck out of him, Hispanic style, bro. It's just, bro. And then Joker's trying to get up and he's walking away, and I'm like, what just happened? And then did you notice in the background what happened?
Twice up. Yep. Jose had a really good point. He was like, "Yo, dude, this is like the 3 Jokers, like all the different Jokers. There were 3 different ones at the same time in the book." And I was like, "Dude, you're on to something there."
Because
and like
that's what I was thinking too. Because they had the guy that did the explosion. He looked like the main Joker. And then you had our Joker, and then you had this guy, Joker. Yeah, that sounds like Mario. But yeah, he's gets rid of Joker, man, and then he's in the background. He's doing the cut on his face to get the smile thing.
Yeah, it was again like it was a gut punch, and I was like, "That's how they do it. That's how they end it." Okay, fine. Like, do you think Harley was on the other side of the glass? Who do you think was waiting for him?
I don't think anybody was.
No, you don't think he really? Yeah, I guess that makes sense too.
Because remember, he talked a lot of crap about those guards.
Yeah.
That's a court case. So I'm thinking the guards.
All guards.
I know. Damn guards. The guards probably like planned something out with this guy, or I don't know, but it definitely didn't feel like somebody was waiting for him, because who would it have been? Harley didn't want none of the parts of him. I mean, so, like, granted, he had a lot of fan people, you know.
Here's your other like dangling thread. Like, do you think she's really pregnant?
No.
That was all that was way quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, bro, if you got somebody pregnant that fast, bro, you ain't human. You got some mutated genes there, okay? Because that was
Irish.
What?
So from what it sounds
like, ground like daisies.
So it sounds like this movie was just everywhere. Like the writing was just, let's focus on this. Oh no, so this and then this and this. Like it didn't feel like they had a main real goal.
I think what this movie had, and it wasn't about it being everywhere, it was they had like two tricks, and it was Gaga as Harley, and let's show Joker's trial. And they spun their wheels the entire movie about it. Every time like something would build up, they'd pull it back. She would like bring up his soul, and then she would disappear. He would go on live TV and try to be mad and do interviews, and like he would get into the Joker character and then revert right back to Arthur. Like every time they took like a step forward, they would pull it back right away.
Yeah, I feel like they were trying to be daring, but not daring enough.
Mm-hmm.
And not in the right direction either. There's a point of being daring where it felt the Joker theme, but this daring was like, let's try this out, and then midway through, this ain't working. Let's pull it back.
And like I think like the point of like no return for me was when he fired his lawyer, and like
I actually
the
was
judge.
very happy about that part.
Yeah, and the judge was like, "Don't make a mockery of my courtroom," and he's sitting there talking like the hyper chicken from Futurama, like, like
I'll tell you,
and like I'm
like,
like, this can't be real. No judge would sit there and let him do that. And like that's where it like really kind of like went off the rails for me, where I felt like he could have been like the Joker personality at that point and been like talking to people like he was talking to Mari, and I think that would have been better.
Yeah.
Again, I would say B- on Joaquin's performance, Gaga's performance. It took some big swings, and the first two acts are incredible. It's just it seriously shits craps the bed at the end. 27 minutes, like curses again.
Rating wise, I'm gonna give it a C-. It wasn't there all the way.
I feel that. I'd watch it again. I would.
Yeah, when it goes on to something free that I'm already.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I won't be going to the movies to go see that again. I'm glad I didn't spend the money on IMAX. That's all I gotta say.
So
yeah,
I do have a question.
Yeah.
And Kev brought up something that I thought was very, very interesting, and having y'all guys' reaction to his question was great for me. Now, I'm going to expound on a little bit more. One of my all-time favorite Jokers of all time is Heath Ledger. One of the most iconic scenes and his portrayal of the Joker was him at the hospital in the nurse's outfit.
Hi.
Bingo.
Okay. One of the scenes that was the greatest scene of all time was when he was talking to Mr. Dent about him having a plan. Mr. Barry, do you remember the line for line of what he said? I know you do.
Yeah, because it's the name of my favorite track off the soundtrack. Like a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with it when I got it.
So to me, according to how y'all guys described this movie, it felt like what Kev was actually saying, which is that line that's there. It was a whole bunch of cars, and the dog was chasing a whole bunch of cars and didn't know what it was going to do if it actually caught one. So it didn't actually have a plan. It was kind of distorted all over the place. But it didn't have a goal. It distorted all over the place. But then it finally got to the car, and it didn't know what to do.
You're right on track. Like I said, this movie had like two tricks up its sleeve, and it spun its wheels a lot for those two tricks. And
this felt like
you make a movie for, I don't know, what was it? It was like $100 million, and it grosses over $1 billion and becomes this phenomenon almost. Do you even remember when people were boycotting the movie coming out The first one, there was like a big media blitz
Yeah.
where people were boycotting it, and yeah,
Yeah, because it was a whole mental health issue. Like
Awareness movie, yeah.
everyone was
something along
going
those
against
lines.
it because it's promoting a
Uh,
unhealthy look at mental health issues.
Yeah, they were like going against like the whole incel thing, and I think this movie tries to like capture the spirit of that too, because they're like, hey, don't worship this guy, he's a piece of trash. And there's probably a better way they could have done it.
Mhm.
It's yeah, it's fun. It's weird. It doesn't detract from the first one. It just they should have focused more on his time in Arkham and his court thing, and maybe that's it. I don't know.
Well,
I was glad they brought back just about everybody who was left alive, though. They
Yeah.
brought back the little guy. I can't think of his name.
Short guy.
And Zazie Beetz came back, thankfully.
Yeah.
So I was excited about that.
Actually, Larry, speaking of Harvey Dent, he was in the movie.
Yo, did you catch it when the courtroom blew up? They like
And his
passed by. Yep, half his
blood.
face.
I saw that.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. It was slight things like that that were like, oh man, that's cool. But then that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and somewhere in there, I saw Wayne Tower in one of like the panning shots.
Yeah,
That's
it
about
was
it.
a lot of that was there. It still felt very separated from. I mean, and it's supposed to be right. Like the original
Yeah.
Joker movie was technically separated from the Batman story.
Mhm.
This one was. It just felt even further.
Well,
Yeah.
that was my question actually. After watching this movie and where they were going with it, what do you think they're gonna do with this Joker character or the two Joker characters? Do you think
Nothing.
this is it, or
Nothing.
there's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's
this thing?
finished.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got to remember too, like this movie is in a time period that is nowhere near any of the Batman movies that we've had in the last couple years. Not even the Robert Pattinson movie. It's nowhere near that time frame. This is
So, what was the point of making this
80s.
movie?
Because the other one made $1 billion.
And this movie only made 45 million opening weekend.
It's yeah. You could totally see where all the money
how
was
much
spent
they
though.
spent.
The money doesn't look the movie doesn't look cheap at all. But
No, it looks great,
um
phenomenal.
yeah. Cinematography is great. Like it looks like it picks up right where the other one left off. They even have the lady who won the Oscar for the soundtrack, like doing her cello music during it. Which was beautiful. But yeah, it didn't quite do the layup I wanted it to, but I'm not mad at all of it.
Larry
Just-
got a little something.
just-
Hold up.
No, I was gonna say just the last thing. The reviews that I saw, they said the sequel wasn't necessary, and they spit on Joker. That's all.
And rightfully so. Joker's a piece of crap.
But he's a great piece of crap.
Yeah.
All right, Larry, what do you got, buddy?
I have a question.
Oh,
Go for it.
The
3 times
young-
on Tuesdays.
the young individual that y'all guys were referring to that got rid of and now trying to replace, how old do you think that individual is?
he was in like his mid-20s.
What?
The guy that killed Joker.
Oh.
He was in
Yeah.
his, like,
The Joker.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Prime Joker.
Yeah.
So technically, I guess in their mind, he's around the age that Joker would have been when Bruce actually grows up.
Yeah.
Instead
no.
of, why not? Because usually the Joker itself is usually about 10, 15 years older than
Oh, okay. No, you're
than Bruce Wayne.
I definitely heard that wrong. My bad. But yeah, you got a point. 'Cause
Yeah,
that
I
Bruce
see
Wayne
where
would
you're
probably
going.
be-
Like, yeah, this universe can have its Batman and its Joker.
Yeah.
We'll never see it,
Right.
and whatever.
especially if DC's trying to go the Batman Beyond option and not
Oof,
the
I hope.
original. I hope so too.
Mhm.
Because
But
that
I
would
love
be sick.
Now I have a question because I don't believe they showed a Joker in Patterson and
They
Patterson.
did.
They
They
did.
did?
Barry
Yeah.
Cohen, the guy that's
Cohegan.
yeah.
The
He's
guy
He's
who
the
was
guy-
in Eternals. The guy that was in Eternals. I forget his name.
That's not helping your case, Kev.
I know. I'm sorry.
I just know his Barry, and his last name is weird. Barry
Yeah,
Cohen or something like that.
and he's terrifying looking as the Joker.
Yeah, he's got like
he was
he's got blisters on his lips.
yeah,
It's
he
crazy.
was in a deleted scene. Batman
Oh.
interrogates him, and then he's just kind of hear him at the end of the movie.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy
Yeah.
that's
I
apparently
remember.
going out with Selena Carpenter or something like that.
Barry. I can't say that name. It starts
Yeah,
with
Kogan, right? Something like that.
Kogan.
Something.
Kogan. Yeah, Kogan. Yeah.
Kogan.
Because
Hogan?
I was thinking age group, like age wise, we're now this new Joker can be the age of what he's supposed to be. Because naturally the Phoenix Joker is way too old.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew, like in the Batman universe, that he wasn't going to maintain.
Right,
Bingo.
especially
That
with them
role, and
showing
we see
little
Joker
Bruce in the first Joker movie.
Correct. Correct. So it makes sense that it was like, all right, well, a new Joker has to be there, a younger one. And I guess this is their way of doing it. Not saying they did it successfully, not saying that they did it right, but I'm assuming that was the mindset to make it make sense. Bruce being young, 20 years from now, then that Joker would be like in his 40s. No, Bruce would be like, late 20s. That would kind of make sense.
I mean,
Okay,
that
that's
would
all.
work.
It just wouldn't make sense because obviously the guy who played from Eternals was the Joker in Pattinson's universe. So it's like if you made this different Joker, then what were you going to do with him after the first two movies? Even if this movie did do well, what were you going to do with him?
You get
Well,
not everything has to lead into a broader universe.
Yeah, no, like this was meant to be separate from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even
So-
James Gunn said that we're not tying this into our universe. It's just
No.
there. It's
That-
a secondary story.
Just
It-
there?
it-
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
let me tell you
yeah,
about the
so
wonders
So
of
it
the
was
multiverse.
unnecessary. So
Yes.
These two movies
Yes.
were unnecessary then. Okay.
Unnecessary for a connected
Yes.
plot, yes. Necessary for the first one being a really good character study, yes.
Yeah,
Yes, George.
it was a cash grab. The second one was definitely cash grab. The first one was a potential to something. And it was more of an experiment project because of how they wanted to approach it with the whole mental illness thing. It was different than our Joker just being, just a crazy dude. Like there was a mental thing going on there. So I think that was a different thing, which I wasn't mad at.
It's so disappointing because
It's just
to have the greatness of the first one.
Yeah.
With they could have took that story so many different ways, but they clearly didn't. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so
no one spits the face of their own characters as much as DC does.
you ain't.
Damn.
Speaking of bad characters and bad guys that have their own universe thing going on and shows about villains, Kev, why don't you tell us about Agatha?
Oh, Agatha. That's nice.
I was looking for somebody to do that layup real quick. Good job, Mike.
It's most likely good.
You know us. Transitions are not our strong suit.
Apparently
Yes,
they are
it
for
is.
Mike.
You let me
Y'all see
do
his
it.
video?
You let me do it. Yes, it is. Okay.
First one's for you guys, the next one costs money.
We're broke. Stop it.
Oh, geez.
We'll triple your salary.
Oh
In
man,
the future.
zero.
Where-
That's a lot of zeros.
somewhere in the deep multiverse.
It's a zero with nothing in front of it.
Maybe a piece of paper
Unadded
that says
zeros.
money.
It says 0 IOU 00000.
Go on about
Anyway.
Agatha.
Agatha.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, Agatha,
Agatha.
the last two episodes, episode 3 and 4. I mean, as we're recording, the 5th episode comes out tomorrow night. Me, Mike, and Frank talked about it in the last episode, how much me and Frank really enjoyed it. Mike was kind of,
I liked
Lukewarm.
episode 3. I did not like episode 4.
I agree with you on
Okay.
that
okay. I guess we're getting it. Okay, so that's what everyone
Get
thought,
into
huh? Okay, all right.
one. Do it.
I think I enjoyed them. I just think it's hitting that Marvel TV series. What's the word? Kind of the same stuff we've been seeing. Start off great, and then kind of the middle is kind of slow. We're kind of getting a little slow.
Mhm.
Now, I enjoyed how the trials are.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 trials, it's each witch like personal demons and their own trauma, but they're doing it very different and unique. I don't care what anyone says. When they were playing the song in episode 4, I was doing this.
That song, I actually do like that song. Like this is what the second time they've sang the song,
Yeah, this
and
was
it's a
their
really
Yes.
good song, man. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good song.
and just the reason of them have to play it. It's and finding out the reason of why the mom of the witch was playing it. So mates, it wasn't just to get to the witch's road; it was to protect her, her daughter.
That's
Mhm.
crazy to think that.
Yeah,
And I
'cause
thought-
didn't they call it a protection spell? Was that what they
Yeah.
called it? Yeah.
It was-
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
all right, who else thought
Yeah,
that who else thought that demon was Mephisto?
Ah,
If they
Yeah.
released it, if they revealed Mephisto like that, I would have just turned the show off.
yeah.
I would.
I knew it wasn't going to be actually Mephisto. It looked
I
kind
know,
of looked
but
like
it would
him.
have been. I don't know. Yeah, and when it was a freaking red demon, like of course we're gonna think it's him. But here's the thing: we know when we get Mephisto, he's not gonna look like that. He's gonna look like a human being.
He's gonna look like Borat.
He's gonna look like it's the me, Borat.
It's me. No.
Okay,
Would you
wait,
like
what's
to
that
make a
word?
nice deal?
Very nice.
And
I
when
make a spell.
they all when they all got in the room, the very nice room, very nice, very nice room.
Can you imagine him being part of the trials and every trial they're in this room and he's like that? Yep, very nice.
Very
Yo,
nice
how about he
room.
just goes through like he's
Very
like
nice.
Ali G, Bruno, and Borat.
Oh my god, that'll be funny. That you know what? That sounds like something that freaking Ryan Reynolds would do. Like he would make
Definitely.
fun of that.
Mm.
They should do that. Sacha Baron Cohen should do it.
Yeah,
You know,
I
the
think-
interesting thing is, the first episode of the show felt like Wanda, and then the second episode was like hard turn. This is not Wanda. Now watching the fourth episode, this is very much like Wanda again. Through the decades, we're going through this error that's linked to one of the witches or sacrifice, but like it's linked to one of the witches. It's linked to a certain timeline, which is feeling like Wanda when it's we're doing the TV piece and going through the different errors of television kind of thing.
It's
Yeah, I
it's
agree
the
with that.
Agatha Errors tour.
yeah.
Move
Totally, yeah.
over, Taylor
I'm telling-
Swift.
I'm just telling you that last episode with the demon, Ozzy Osbourne would be very proud. I'm just saying that just screams him.
Exactly.
Yo,
I was like
I'm
surprised
tired
with the
with-
demon. I really was that they actually and they pulled like some Sam Raimi tricks with like demon vision and
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cool. It definitely felt like part of some of the Marvel Universe demon stuff they showed. And I even forgot about it. I ended up seeing something online about it, and they were like, it looks like the stuff that what was the girl from She-Hulk's name? The bougie
She-Hulk.
girl.
Tatiana
No.
Maslany?
The girl who ended up watching TV with Wong.
Oh, Madison.
Madison. And
yeah,
when
Madison with a
the
Y.
demons that came in like through Madison and stuff, like
Oh yeah, I know.
and they're like they look like the same. I'm like, okay, that could be the same realm.
some continuity there.
Was it Madison?
Little.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's Madison with two N's, but you don't know where the second one is or something like that.
No, didn't you say it was Madison with a Y?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Madison with a Y and not where you think it is. Something. I
Yeah.
forget.
Madison with a
And
Y.
then-
I don't really
And
think it is.
yeah,
Like, what?
yeah. But
So, Kev.
also that third episode. That's why I want to talk about that third episode. The first trial. We finally got the tease because they talked about it. They were teasing it a little bit, and then we finally saw it with her hallucination. Agatha traded her son ticket for the Darkhold, and I called it in the last episode. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of myself.
We've been on that.
I
since the second
swear to
episode.
you, I was watching. I was like, I knew it. Let's go.
That was revealed in the second episode.
When
she went to go talk to when she's going ahead and looking for the other witches, she talks to the witch, the pink witch or whatever, and that's what she says. She says it then. Yeah, the bald chick.
Well, one of the other witches says it as a rumor.
Yes.
In episode 3, we get the vision, which is like
said it,
the confirmation of that.
That's when she also dropped the Mephisto name for the first time.
She did. That was kind of clutch. I was all excited. I was like, oh my God, they said the M word.
I'm picturing like Kevin at like 2 a.m. like, yeah, and like someone banging the wall, keep it down in there.
No, my ass in bed. I'm sleeping. I ain't up at 2 a.m.
He's like, no.
What's 2 a.m.?
If that fan's on, Kev's not.
Dead.
He's out like a
darn white people.
We're canceled.
46.9.
Mike, you're on a roll.
Oh, Mike.
We're getting screwed left and right by you today.
Anyway,
I got my curses written down for sure.
But Frank,
better put that marker in there too, buddy.
Oh crap.
The neighbor.
46.
46 white people.
Oh man.
But Frank, we talked about the neighbor. It looks like we're wrong. She had nothing to do with anything. She was just there.
You talking about Kitty?
That's why I said sacrifice. She was literally there as a sacrifice.
I was hoping they kept her alive a little longer.
But that was also the way of bringing. I was kind of thinking all along that I'm blanking on her name, the
Aubrey
witch
Plaza?
that's part of her coven that we see at first.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah,
Rio.
That was the way of bringing her in because she was supposed to be there originally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like she was
She didn't
meant
want
to be. Exactly. So then she had to end up coming in. She knew that was going to happen. She knew that she was going to be brought in because it was prophesized that she would be there.
Well, all I can say is thank God for the prophecy because Aubrey Plaza definitely should be in there at all times.
Absolutely. Thank God.
And
Thank God.
One of the crazy parts of this. All right, Larry's probably gonna be like, "Of course, you're bringing up Star Wars." But
Frank,
when Acolyte was like having all of like the news and everything, this show was in the news because of it, because they turned around and were like, "This is going to be a gay show."
Really, Frank? Let's be honest here, Frank.
Relationship.
Let's be honest here.
48.
I do actually really like that we're seeing like the relationship.
Bro, they had a relationship, but Agatha had a kid. That sounds like these chicks in the street nowadays, dude. Like,
48.45.
Whoa.
So it's awesome that Aubrey Plaza was
I like
in it.
chicks, but I got a baby. Like, how?
Speaking of the child, so it's now been confirmed that the teen is not her son.
Yes.
We were talking about it. I was talking about it, how it may be his spirit maybe went into the kid, but it was a theory, and Aubrey Plaza said it herself. It's not her kid.
I got a theory, though.
It is.
All right. So the little spell that's on his lips, if you flip it upside down, it spells Wiccan.
Really?
Yes. There's a W. It's very like cursive-y, but it's W and then the dot.
Flip it upside down and see.
It spells Wiccan. If you look at it, it was really. There was a post that I saw, and somebody actually like drew it out, and it does say Wiccan.
Okay.
The theory is though that it is Wiccan. He's hiding it because obviously Agatha does not want to help bring back Wanda. Wiccan is trying to bring back Wanda. He's trying to bring his family back. And that's where it's at.
Yeah. And I've called this before too.
Wife's in the background. Hey guys.
I said,
Hi.
They said,
hey,
Hi.
you're on
live
television. She's coming to get her cat.
oh, hey,
Hey, kitty.
hey.
You're on
George,
TV.
how the hell can you even tell?
I didn't. Somebody wrote it out. So, like, the left side of it was a W, and then the dot for the
Where
I.
the hell do you see a
Bro,
W?
I'll send you the picture. I will swear to God, I'll send you the picture. Somebody had it written out in there, and it said Wiccan. It may not be that particular picture. It might be another scene, but they wanted like they did a still shot of it, and they were able to scribble in Wiccan in that space. Did you just toss your phone?
Yes, I did Luke Skywalker.
What do you mean? I've never seen him toss anything that doesn't exist.
Those movies, as Mike would do, figment of your imagination.
Those things never happened.
Those 3 movies, well, those 2 movies that sucked. What movies?
All right, Kev. So, what do you think is next for the show? Obviously, they're going to have another trial. I guess are they going to have another time period? Do you think? Do you think that Aubrey Plaza is death? Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
she's-
too.
She just keeps teasing that she's gonna kill all of them.
Mhm.
She keeps that. She's like, I'm gonna kill you all. I'm gonna do it. And she's just sitting there with her knife, just like, just the crazy person that she is. Just it's only a matter.
Yeah.
Of time.
She made crazy
It's only a
look
matter of
so cute.
Hmm. What was the order that she assembled them? Are they going in reverse?
Avengers first.
Well, it all started when Nick Fury started to form a team.
Technically, it started Captain America being made in a lab. But okay,
Why did you do the glasses thing? Technically,
that's what real nerds do.
you nerd.
And then I forget it's another movie that's apparently set in the 90s. You know, when Nick Fury lost his eye. I don't know about that movie.
Again, things we don't need to talk about.
Anywho.
So
Yeah,
I do like how they are kind of warming up to one another, talking about their trauma, talk about what happened to them. It's gonna crumble.
I like the fact. I think the strongest thing that they're keeping in this is like, not to sound like a broken record, but Agatha is a piece of crap, and you shouldn't like her because she's a piece of crap. She's not treating these people well. She's trying to get their powers, and she's not shy about it. I like that they're doing that. Exactly.
They're pushing that anti-hero
But
thing
she
very heavy.
cares.
Does she?
She cares a lot about the team.
She
Yeah.
cares if they don't get there and she can't
But
get their
I
powers.
feel like that's only because now she thought before it might have been her son.
So you think these
Now-
new episodes she's gonna be completely different because she doesn't now she knows that it's not?
I think she's gonna try it first, but I just think I think with how the Covenant is and how close they're getting, I feel like she's gonna show more heart, I will say. Even when she's not trying to. Yeah.
Yeah, but this could be the complete flip of like she sold out her first coven. This is probably the complete flip where like at the end she's actually going to care about this coven and care about this coven surviving.
Well, she had a motive back then, right? Her motive was to get the Darkhold. You only go after the Darkhold if you want to do some dirty stuff, right? You're not looking to get the Darkhold to be like, a good person. There's some dark magic in there.
Yeah, you don't trade your son in for a book.
Right. So like, yes, it could have been a whole different story where back then she was Only
She
about
went to
herself.
straight like GameStop and was like, "I need that new console, guys."
Just
What
for
you
them to
mean
give
you
you
won't take
$5 of credit.
$50?
Just for
Let
them
me
to
get-
give you $5 of credit back.
Exactly. Let me get that 2025 Darkhold. Thanks by EA Sports. It's gonna be great.
Here's my trade-in. It's my baby.
Oh, God. But
Oh,
George, let me ask you this. I know you since you were here the last episode. With how the show's going, it's what do you do with these characters after the show?
Well, if Wiccan is Wiccan, then we know what's happening with that. He's going to the Young Avengers, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Agatha, at some point in the comics, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't she teach Scarlet Witch how to be a stronger witch? Like
There's
she becomes a mentor.
there's also comics where she just babysits for Wanda.
And listen, you know what's
Which
crazy?
then
I
means
would not be mad
Wanda's
about
going
that.
Wait. Are we talking about Agatha and babysitting?
Agatha. Yeah,
Agatha was Franklin Richards' babysitter.
right.
Yes.
So we might get that in the future. Who knows?
I'm just
But
just asking because obviously we know if this team really is Wicked, we know what they're going to do with him.
right.
And I just saw there is a rumor that Wiccan or Scarlet Witch's movie or TV series will be about them trying to get the other brother, Speed, back.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
heard
know.
that too. I mean, here
Well,
you
don't
got to
forget,
think though.
we also got the Vision. Is it called Vision Quest?
Vision
Yes.
Quest. Yeah.
Vision
Yes,
Quest, yeah.
that's coming up.
I think with Agatha, you guys got to remember, like Disney and Marvel are trying to tap into the spiritual realm a little bit more,
Mhm.
which could lead to Midnight Suns in the future, which could tie into what was that thing that they had that Halloween
Werewolf by
special that
Night.
one year,
Werewolf by
by
Night.
Night.
Yeah.
That could tie in a little bit at some point into that that mystical realm kind of
Mhm.
thing. So she could be there, or she
Sure.
could just be a laughing joke because Catherine Zahn, I think that's her last name. She's so funny. She doesn't care. She will do funny scenes and she'll be like, I don't care. I'm going to do them anyway. She's a hilarious person. So, like, if it winds up being that she is just the babysitter of these kids, she'll make a big joke out of it and continue it anyway. You know what I mean? I don't see it being a bad thing.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did bring it up last episode. They're slowly but surely planting the seeds for the supernatural stuff because
Yeah.
we got Midnight's Werewolf by Night. You have Man Thing with them. Then you have the bounty hunter. I forget her name. That was on that
Bloodstone.
as well. Bloodstone. Thank you. You have Moon Knight. I mean, you have Doctor Strange if you want to bring him in, because there's comics where he is in the Midnight Suns. Punisher, maybe I don't see that one, but he's there now with Daredevil coming out. And then whenever we're gonna get Blade, now we're gonna get Wiccan. You never know. And Scarlet, it's just this whole possibilities.
You also have to remember these characters are just characters. They don't have to be in the MCU any more than they need to be. Like
Yeah.
Agatha was always meant to be a bridge character. She was never a primary character. And the fact that they made a TV show was because they needed her to bridge what? Back to Wanda.
Right.
So how do you do that? You keep it in the witches and warlocks area and have her be the bridge between Wanda's death and Wanda's possible resurrection. How crazy would that be? The person that locks you up into a curse that you have to continue living the life that you lived in Westview, and then that particular person comes back to help you to come back to life. Like that comes full circle.
That's what I said last time.
Get out of my head.
It's reverse WandaVision. Instead of
Yeah.
Agatha pulling the strings, it's now Wanda, and now
It was Wanda
all along.
all along.
Well, I mean, Wanda, if the case is that she's really dead, then it's not Wanda, it's her son who's helping pull the strings this time.
But how did he get
If
there?
that is her son.
If he's not real.
Unless Wanda actually planted all of it, knowing that like she was going to end up dead, was able to put all of the pieces in place to begin with. Because why are there these specific witches there? I know they gave us the tagline of like, yeah, within 3 miles of each other, there is always enough of witches for a coven. Like, yeah, but why are there these specific witches there?
How many episodes is this?
Is it 8? I think they're gonna just do 8.
Yeah,
So are we at like midway then?
We're
So
Yeah,
about
this
to
will
do
be
episode
episode 5 tomorrow.
Wow.
So we're a little bit more than midway.
yeah, because I think their last episode is the day before Halloween.
Which is clutch that they did that. That's perfect, like dropping of episodes.
But I also did love the little jump scare we got when Rio came out from the ground and she came like full exorcist.
Yeah.
She just
No,
pops out
the
like,
freaking
hey, how you doing?
the freaking Salem 7, the one crawling down the steps.
Yeah.
Wow, that was creepy. That was some exorcist stuff right there.
Yeah.
that was the only part of this that has been like uber creepy. The rest of it has been like jump scare, suspense,
Yeah.
but that's about it. Like,
I think they're saving
Or
saving
or
it
a
to the
fire demon.
but even then, the fire demon wasn't like. I feel like the music video element of that took
Mhm.
away from how creepy it could have been.
True.
end. I think they're saving it until the end.
Probably.
They're saving what to the end?
They like more creepy stuff and everything. Like they're playing little seeds there, like a little creepy walk here, a little creepy zombie here. Just wait till the end.
And you know what's
But it
funny, man? I
also-
was thinking the other day, you know, we had that tidbit of Mephisto, right? What if he pops up at the end of the season tying into Ironheart? Is he
I
supposed to
have
be in-
I have no doubt that he's gonna pop up in the series. The more
Because we need
the
to
more,
get that. You
the
know how
more it's
Marvel does
looking.
it.
Yeah, because the hood,
Red Hood.
The
No,
hood. The hood.
the hood. Yeah, he's the main villain for Ironheart. It's supposed to be
And he's
like
supposed to
magic
be a
versus
follower
technology.
of Mephisto, right?
Yes,
Yeah. An agent of Mephisto.
either a follower or like, isn't at one point he was like his like basically his right hand man?
I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. He's a
Come
D-list
on,
character.
Mike.
Come
You're supposed to
on.
know these answers.
I can tell you who the Red Hood is, but not the hood.
So it's a TV 14 show, so it's not like it's going to go like super hardcore.
No.
It's still going to be in that like medium range.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, I've been liking it. If I had to, if it somehow ended today or the last episode, I would give it like a solid 3.5 out of 5.
I thought you were gonna say 3 out of 10. I'm like, that's solid. I mean, I wouldn't after the last episode, I wouldn't give it all that, but last episode was a little slow for me.
It is, but I'm enjoying the story of each witch.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I do like that idea because it's like each trial is represented for a specific witch.
Yes,
So I do like that they're not just there as a body, you know, like there's purpose for these.
they're trying to make us like these characters.
And I don't mind it, but they killed Kitty.
Which usually bodes not good for them if we're trying to make us like them.
I think having said that, I think we can like them. I think they're all redeemable. I don't think they're like irredeemable characters that we're not gonna like. They're just be like, why do we like these characters? I think they all have redeeming factors, and yeah, I think Agatha herself will turn it around in the end and make the sacrifice play.
And if not,
but-
remember, they're just characters. They're expendable.
Exactly.
Hey George, did you get the reference in the second episode of that 70 show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you got it. Larry, do you have any questions or anything at all? You've been a little quiet there, bud.
I have. I just
Yeah.
been soaking in all the information. What y'all think about this show?
Larry, thanks for hosting today. You're doing a good job. I believe in you.
Thank you.
On that being said, I think It's getting a little late for me.
Say a whole lot less because my hand is already on the button. It's time to shut it down, gentlemen. Last word. Joseph, what you got for me?
Just a special shout out. Like, remember everybody, the night is darkest before the dawn, and like, you're always worth it. Stay the course, be positive. You're always worth it. And check out my Instagram, the Geeks at Nerd Table Instagram. I just dropped something that I've been kind of formulating for a little while. It's another Batman video, but stay in school, kids. Don't read the comic books, read the textbooks. Don't get a blue collar job. Leaving the house at 5 a.m. sucks.
Amen to that. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know what you think about Joker and Agatha so far. We want to hear more from you guys. We want to hear the feedback. What do you guys want us to talk about next? We want to hear what you guys want us to talk about. We have this table. It's not just us sitting there. We want you guys to sit there along with us. So please let us know on our Instagram or comment down below on this video when it uploads. We really do appreciate it, guys.
Hey, we're appreciative of everybody that's been following along with me, especially, and George as well with the Rings of Power series. We just actually wrapped up the other night, and we'll be dropping that video shortly. So thank you for following along with us. Leave that comment how you're feeling about that series and what else you want us to cover as bonus to our regular show.
I got nothing. The guy said it all. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, Geeks at the Nerd Table, and we'll go ahead and post back and say what's up.
Hey, as always, we thank y'all so much. I mean, you can spend your time doing anything, but you spent your time with your boys, and I can't thank y'all guys enough. As my guys already said, I'll just put a little bit more emphasis on it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Really comment, and subscribe. Tell us what you think. Hey, once again, do you think what Frank said was a little bit optimistic about the show? Do you think that DC Mike is stuck in the DC and actually gave a little too much credence on the Joker 2? Hey, tell us. Larry said you suck. You didn't say nothing this time. It's all right. Say all that you want, but put it in the comments down below. We appreciate every single one of y'all once again. Until next time, God bless you all. Peace.
Adios.